Just knowing what to expect, not from the sense of your opponent, but just the atmosphere, the environment you're going to be in. Understanding what it takes to win playoff games, and just we all know we've been there before. We know what losing feels like, and we don't want to you know have that taste again. Come December 31st. So we're just doing everything we can to make sure we prepare ourselves to beat TCU.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in the Maize and Blue Reviews. Good afternoon, Michigan football. I'm Dennis Fithian, and you heard right there from a Wolverine. And give yourself a little pat on the back if you knew that was Michigan captain Mike Sainristil. He's looking forward to New Year's Eve, and the audio is courtesy of mgoblue.com. Michigan football, I listen to a guy like Mike Sainristil and, talking about New Year's Eve, and it's way before, we got Christmas and all kinds of things going on, bowl games galore, basketball games and everything else. But, just listening, I was putting that audio in a couple minutes ago, and it just kind of got me fired up. Mike Sainristil and Michigan football is exciting. It gets you going. It really does, man. You watch a little tape. You listen to guys talk about the semifinal, and that's why you are where you are at, and I'm sitting here where I am at, because we all love talking about and discussing Michigan. It's one of those things. I would like to be out there playing myself. I mean, getting out, getting in a stance, but after your football playing days, I mean, you can play golf and you can do other things, and I still like playing basketball. And like, if there was one thing I could pick to do, my favorite thing in life would be going out and playing basketball. But if it's not playing basketball, it's watching basketball or watching football. And if it's not watching football or watching basketball, it's talking about football and basketball. And that's where we're at right now. You can't participate every day, and you can't watch every single day. We just got to wait. We got to wait. And it's building the excitement, but it's not building where, tomorrow I'm going to be more excited than the next day. You get really excited. Then you kind of like, okay, you just can't be, on tilt every single day waiting for the game. But, it gives you a little bit, it gets the juices flowing a little bit when you hear from somebody like Mike Sainristil. Tomorrow, the juices should be flowing a little bit with early signing day for high school players. And Michigan's got 21 players, and we're going to see what they can do for them. And we're going to have fun tomorrow going through all of them. But there's still some work and some players out there that, there's a signing day special from a corner in Illinois. Carmelo, who, I'm keeping tabs on. If you look, speaking of tabs, you look at that little thumbnail. If you're watching this and you see who's that high school player that's on the thumbnail, that's Jamel Howard, a defensive tackle out of Wisconsin. Michigan's still in hot pursuit of him. So it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. We always take your feedback. Coming up in just a minute or two, we're going to connect with Jim Scarcelli. Scar was not here yesterday because he was out. I can't wait to hear what his vacation was like. He was out watching a bunch of games. So we'll see what Scar has to say about that. We'll ask him about TCU. Mark's not very concerned about TCU. Account 22 talking about Jair and what he's doing on Instagram. Hey, you know what? It's going to be a wild 24 hours. Buckle up. There's always, if everybody signed and ended up with the school they were supposed to be, then it wouldn't be all that like there'd be the anticipation, but I think there's a part of it. Now with Michigan, I would like everybody to just stay put, but you know, signing day has a way to, you know, steer the coffee cup that's on the table right to the edge and have it teetering and having it fall off and smash into a million pieces. And you know, Jair is just one of those guys that has everybody like, this guy's completely out of his mind. This guy's, you know, who knows? You know, maybe he's trolling everybody else and he's all maize and blue. We'll find out about that coming up. I would think tomorrow. Everybody feeling good about Michigan against TCU. How about Antoine making a prediction of a 21-point victory? Mark is not impressed with the 3-3-5. The punters practice. We are talking about practice. That's all we have to talk about right now is practice, not the game. Although we will look at some game film. Scar has been back in the lab. He has put together some more film, and he's going to look at. You know, he was talking about after a while when you talk to coaches, and I like listening to coaches talk. And Scar was a longtime coach, and he starts talking about scraping and 4 verticals and you know, I was like, okay, Scar, we'll get to it. Coming up, Chris wants to know specifically about Jair Hill, about explanation. I'm gonna say it's, you know, you're talking about 17, 18-year-olds and social media, and you know, how many times have I watched a lot on signing day specials where the dudes come out there and you know, they got like 4 hats and, you know, some of them are theatrical, you know, they get out there and they get this hat on. They pretty much already have it on. And the next thing you know, they're reaching under the table and boom, they come up with another hat. So I don't know, Jair is playing some kind of shell game. No, do I have any insight on it? I'm not sure. You know, sometimes you get a kid like this, and I'm not even saying that this is the point, but, you know, you'll have a bunch of Michigan people calling them. And they'll be like telling him, oh, yeah, you know, I mean, I'm all about Michigan. Sure, Michigan, Michigan, Michigan. But, you know, he's telling everybody else, oh, yeah, Illinois, Illinois, Illinois. You know, and he's telling everybody what they want to hear. And then he's like, let's just fool around with everybody and let's put this IG post out here and see how many hits I can get. And, you know, sometimes it's about views and it's about hits, you know. Let's stir the pot, see how crazy we can get some things. So we'll see. Maybe he was playing Michigan like a fiddle the whole time. Maybe he's playing everybody else. You know, maybe he's a jokester. I don't know. We're gonna find out. You know, like if he gets out there, he's got all those hats and everything else, and he pulls out a Michigan hat. I'll be like, hey, this kid's funny. You know, he likes to play jokes. He was playing jokes on everybody else. You can say, I don't like guys like that. I don't know. If he can play, he can play. Let's see whatever happens, Chris, you know, when it comes down to Jair. Let's just see what happens. Look at it. Count 22's in. He thinks Hill's going blue. So we'll find out about that. Okay. I want to remind people about tomorrow. You know, we are here live weekdays at 1 o'clock talking about the latest in Michigan sports. That is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Right now, we're going to get to Jim Scarcelli, see if we can connect with the former high school coach and the former Wolverine. And here he is. Scar, how you doing?
Danny, I'm fired up. Had a great weekend. Went to New Jersey, saw a Princeton basketball game. They got statues of Bill Bradley over there. And that was a beautiful, beautiful campus. Good basketball game, good basketball. And then Saturday we went to see Rutgers play basketball. What an environment! You know, Rutgers has got a following, man. They win in anything over there. They got some serious fan support. I mean, it was a loud, you know, the old rack. It's now the what is it? Jersey Mike's Arena, but it's a loud, hostile place. Good environment. Saw them beat Wake Forest, and then went and saw the Lions play Sunday. Great win for our Detroit Lions. And we got some good coaches, some good players for the Lions. Watch Hutchinson out there making it happen. Was on the plane with Sauce Gardner, you know, mom's from Detroit. So talked to her real quick. Nice lady, nice family. And but great weekend, Danny. Now we're just we're rolling. We're working toward Arizona. We're get our Wolverines to take care of business.
Wow, what a trip! All of that. I think we could spend an hour talking about all of those games and maybe the Lions in particular. But yeah, nice to see the Lions win a game. In years past, that's the kind of game that the opponent kicks that nearly 60-yard field goal and then they lose in overtime. But it didn't happen. So let's see them make the playoffs. That would be fun if they were able to do that. So I'm glad you got back in one piece. Yeah, we're it's fun week here. You got Michigan had an incredible week in terms of recruiting and the transfer portal. Tomorrow you have National Signing Day, which is the 21st, and Michigan's bringing in 21 players. Let's start with the transfer portal. Michigan, by my count, 5 players that they're bringing in. They all kind of brought them in at the same time. This looks, I don't know, a shift. There were a lot of people, a lot of Michigan fans that were worrying if Michigan was going to be able to hit the transfer portal because of transfer credits and the like. They had some grad transfers in there, but also some transfers, some guys with still a couple years remaining. As you saw the guys coming in, the transfers, what were you thinking about?
All those issues, Danny, because that has been one of our concerns as Michigan fans is can Michigan bring in undergraduate transfers? Now I had heard that when Shea Patterson came here, he had to sacrifice a ton of credits to come to Michigan. A lot of credits he had were just wasted. So that is the narrative that I have heard. How true it is, I don't know. But that we're at a disadvantage recruiting undergraduate transfers, that we have to get graduates for all those reasons. So now we've got the kid from Nebraska who is a real good player as a freshman, real good player. We got the kid from Coastal Carolina who I watched play, who is a really, really good player. He's going to come off the edge and give us some things. And the offensive line, I mean, these are all proven football players. So the reality is, hey, okay, what's going on with our guys just wanting to come, and do they still have to sacrifice credits, or did Michigan possibly lower some things and they're allowing guys to bring these credits with them? I don't know, but I do know we've got proven football players. The upside, Denny, of bringing these guys in is they are really good football players and they're proven. Okay, they're proven. We got college film. They've been through the grind. They can compete at a high level. The downside, and I was always barking at Michigan State for this, is at what point will it start to affect high school recruiting? At what point will a parent and a high school coach tell the kid, look, listen, you want to go to this school, that's great. Clemson, we were just talking about earlier, I don't think he has taken a transfer kid. Okay, that's going to be appealing to a high school prospect. So it has to be a balancing act where how many is this guy going to take? Because if I'm a high school coach and I'm counseling my player, that's going to be one of the things I'm going to make sure he's aware of is that, look, not only do you got to beat out the guys in your class as you progress, but when you get to that point where you think you've reached the mountaintop and you're ready to be the guy, they might bring someone in. So go from there, Danny.
Yeah, this is like life in college football now. You've got name, image, and likenesses, which is a huge factor. And obviously, when you look at Michigan's recruiting class that they'll bring in tomorrow, a pretty good class, you could say, but the high-end guys, I mean, it sticks out like a thumb. And, you talk about the delicate balance, Michigan will know a lot of the guys in terms of attrition that have planned on going to the transfer portal, but they may be waiting because they want to participate, at least head out to the college football playoff. So maybe there's a little bit of a delay there. But also when it comes down, that's this delicate balance that you're talking about. You feel like if you're on the team, you've been here for a year, you've been 2, you've been waiting behind someone, biding your time, and yet you feel like you're ready to compete, and then now they're bringing in somebody else, and it might feel like they're paving the way for that guy or that person to start. That could seem like there could be some disharmony there. So It gets back to how you're running your team. People say culture, all of that. I mean, you get a lot of balls in the air here now as a coach where, 3 years ago, you weren't talking about the transfer portal. There wasn't one. You weren't talking about paying players and all that. But both of those, are huge factors that are, stirring up a football roster. What do you think when it comes down to all that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Danny. But the point I'm trying to make about the transfer, how many do you bring in? Is it going to affect our ability to recruit high school kids? Are they going to say, Mel brings in a bunch, I'm not going to Michigan State. Clemson doesn't. So that's the point I'm trying to make. We have to be really, real. How many are we going to bring in? And so from that standpoint, but yeah, Denny, I think we have the ideal football coach. Okay, Saban coached the pros. Rule at Nebraska coached in the pros. So those guys are going to be, But our guy played 15 years in the NFL. He understands the importance of how important, the financial incentives are going to be. He played it. Okay, so he knows it as a player. He saw it as a head coach and how to balance that locker room, with the amount of resources that he has. So the CEO, head coach of a college team now, you got to be multi-talented. It isn't just about blocking and tackling. And you got to know how to balance all of your resources. And I just think we have the right guy. And you got to balance who's coming back. Is Corum coming back? Is Morris coming back? Is Keegan coming back? Those are some names we looked at, and you got to balance all this stuff, and it's constantly changing, constantly fluid. And, I just think we got the right guy.
I think it's a good point on pro experience, both as a player and as a coach. You have one season end and then the cycle where you got free agency and then you've got a lot of turnover in the pro, and college is mimicking that now. You have much more turnover. So being able to, you get to this season when it concludes, and then you turn the page and then you start the other one, bringing all that together and all the different moving parts, having a guy up at the top that knows, what levers he's pulling and pushing and all that is going to help. All right. What about
real quick, a couple points, a couple of things I got on my notes here. I'm just wondering if college coaches in the past, some of them used to push that their guy was not a 3-star, but a 4-star, not a 4, but a 5. Maybe now you may see guys pushing to have them get lower ratings. It might not cost them as much. I don't know. Just throwing some thoughts out there. Danny, real quick, one of our callers asked, Scar, did you play in that 1978 state championship game against Grand Rapids Catholic Central? Yes, I did. I was a sophomore on the Warrenwood State Championship team that beat Grand Rapids Catholic Central. So I'm just replying back to that. Was up at the Silverdome back in the day. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, I like, tomorrow when you look at the different profiles of the players that are coming in, there's a lot of different things that you look at, but did they win a state championship? Were they a captain on their high school team? Those are all things that you take notice of when you're bringing in, and you look over the 21 different guys that are coming in, at least 21 right now. Heck, things could change, you could drop one, drop two, flip, back and forth, but as it sits right now, 21. And so that's we'll see what 21 can do for you.
Yeah, got a lot of good looking players. No quarterback in this class, but we got a lot of good players and a nice little blend of transfers. And it looks like Denny. It looks like we don't rebuild, we reload.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of spots. I'm here for the optimism. Why wouldn't you be optimistic if you're a Michigan fan right now? Where they're at on the field. The reason that you might not be is you're like NIL. Well, I think the landing spot here, it makes you cushioning the blow of tomorrow of not getting those 4 or 5 stars. I think is when you start looking at those transfers. So I think that helps you out. And then just the power. You mentioned Jim Harbaugh. Being the head coach, you always have. You're in a a pretty good spot. But when you have the success on the field that Harbaugh has had, and now you have the, Santa this week with, Christmas coming up on Sunday, the new president, and, thinking about the name, image, and likeness, if that's the last part, I think, Jim Harbaugh saying, this is what we want, this is what we need, this is how we need to go about it. If I'm the president, if I'm the athletic director, I want to do everything. You always want to keep that head coach happy, but what they've done out on the field, I think everybody's just sitting around nodding their head. Let's do what the coach is asking for us. And any team that I have seen over the years in college football, you need those three components all on the same page. You need that president, you need the athletic director, and you need that football coach. If you can get that harmony, and where Harbaugh sits right now, and the things that they're saying in this week of going up to Christmas, and some of the things you hear about Santa, you should be optimistic as a Michigan fan that the Wolverines will find a way to get it done. And I think when I see from the fans, like, they understand this year was a test case when it came down, to signing day and 4 and 5 stars. But I think every one of those Michigan fans are also looking to the 24 class and 25 class, and they're nodding their head and they're saying, you know what, the Michigan can be in the top 10. Maybe they'll be in the top 5. Maybe they'll ring the bell for a recruiting championship where they'll be number 1. I think all of those things are in play in 24 and 25. Why not?
Yeah, if you combine the transfer with our high school kids, if you look at it overall, we might have a really, really highly rated deal there. And yeah, Danny, I know as a high school coach, it's the same thing in high school, college, and pro. I've always said this in talks with my buddies. Pro, it's the owner, it's a general manager, it's a coach. Those guys make it happen. In college, just like you said, high school, it's the same thing. You got your superintendent, maybe your principal, your AD, and then your coach. But the another thing with the NIL that people got to understand, these guys have agents. Okay, they are legitimate agents that are representing these big time kids that are in the transfer portal. Some of them that are thinking going in the portal, and there's some names that I'm not going to mention, but there are names that we've all heard of that are representing players. So we just need to be aware of that again. So that gets back to you having your coach have an understanding of how to deal with agents, big time agents that are going to try to really represent their players to get as much NIL action as they can.
Yep, I'm with you on that. And sometimes you sit around talking about the 4 and 5 stars, but a lot of times it's the other guys. And Scar, you went to the Lions game. I'm sure. People talking about the kid out of Jackson State. He was a 6th round pick, this James Houston. Aiden Hutchinson's done a great job as the number 2 overall pick, but a 6th round pick in James Houston out of Jackson State, getting the kind of production they are getting from him, that's when you got things going and you're doing things. Tell me, as we look, what are we sitting? We're getting pretty close, 11 days until we're, talking about the semifinal against TCU in the Fiesta Bowl. How do you see the schedule? When's Michigan, when they get down at practice, the things that they're trying to get done, similar to last year? What do you hear about the Wolverines in their preparation for the Horned Frogs?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure when Jim lets the guys go home. I'm actually going to take a little quick trip up there and see a practice. Maybe give some thoughts next week on it. But yeah, I don't know exactly his plan. Like I talked about last week, we used to kind of get a lot of the good hard hitting work in, and then and then go back for a few days and then leave out on. Normally when we played a New Year, but this is a January. We play on Christmas Eve, right, or New Year's Eve, right?
Yes,
New Year's Eve. So yeah, it's about the same. So maybe Jim is going to leave on Christmas Day, let the guys go home a few days. But it sounds like, from my understanding, there is not the physicality of the practices of my era. Coaches have gotten a lot smarter like that. Let's get these guys healthy. You do just enough to get the rust off, stay sharp, but we'll get everybody healthy and put a couple new things in, but a lot of time to work on that three. You know, this is it's a good game for Michigan's offense. A bowl game for Michigan's offense against this 3-3-5. We haven't seen it much at all this year. So it'll give us extra time to work on that scheme. But at the same time, it gives TCU, because they don't have people like us in the Big 12. They don't see the kind of offense, as much tight ends as we're going to throw at them in the Big 12. So it gives their defense more time. I think their offense against our defense is, they've both seen what we do and we've seen what they do. It's the other end of the deal there.
Yep. And speaking of the Big 12, you've been, not only have you been on the road out watching basketball games and pro football games, you've been in the film room running that tape, looking at some Michigan opponents, and enough where today you're going to continue on with the telestrator and both entertain us and educate us on what we're watching when we see a college football game in some of Michigan's opponents.
Yeah, Denny, we're having a little, let's figure out where we're at here. Having a little technical.
Well, while you look at that, Scar,
go ahead. Let's keep going on there, Denny. Let me get this figured out here.
Yeah, well, let me tell everyone, we mentioned Christmas coming up. People, you should be thinking about your Michigan person in your life and what you want to get them. Sure, maize and blue tie, maize and blue golf balls. Those are all things that are nice to see in your stocking. But given the gift of the maize and blue review this holiday season is where it's at. Go to michigan.rivals.com. Give that maize and blue gift to that Michigan fan in your life. They will love it. And remember, you can get premium access for a full year for $22. Use the code MBR Holiday. Full year, $22. Use the code MBR Holiday. All right. And that gets us now back.
I think we're ready, Danny. We got a little something going here. We're going to look at the end of this, the rest of this Baylor game. Again, I like Baylor of all the games because their offense was most similar to us.
Okay,
so
let's
you
do
got
it.
Me here you got me here on 4th and 1.
I do. 4th and 1. Yeah, Baylor.
Well, again, this stuff is, this is a formation. We will run this type of a formation. We haven't shown a lot of people at the line of scrimmage, and they've got some bodies up. They got 3 big rocks in here. These guys are good, but they try to get outside, and this defense adjusts. So, I showed a lot of plays last week that were a lot of people running the ball on that defense and moving the ball, but these guys. That's a 4th and 1, trying to get outside, and they do a good job with it. So, we've got to have answers. Empty, bubble, TCU strength. So these are the things. Now, here's Baylor in an empty formation. We're going to come out empty. This is going to play into the wheelhouse and some of the strengths of what TCU is going to be good at defending out of this 3-man look. So Baylor motions out to empty, and this is 2nd and 1. And you just see good breaks, and you see guys, they're going to be good at those things. So just want to point that out. We go empty, we go spread. That's in their wheelhouse. Okay, here we go, 2nd and 6. 5 under, 3 deep versus empty. So this is the near the end of the half, though. So it's near the end of the half. And, people are going to think a little differently at this time. But this is the basic vanilla, real safe scheme, and he doesn't do a lot of blitzing. I heard Keegan interviewed and some of the offensive linemen. He doesn't believe in a lot of pressure in general. So this is a end of the half deal, just rushing 3. We run this kind of stuff too. 5 under, 3 deep. Giving up big chunks in there though. So that's some of the things they're going to do. Okay, here's man coverage. This is that late in the half, 11 seconds left. And this kid from TCU does a good job. He picks the ball off. He's covering this slot receiver, underthrown ball. So we got to be good. They got some athletes in that secondary. So this kid here, they will play man. They will play zone. They will do all kinds of things just like we do. We got to be good at recognizing what they're doing. So they have some athletic kids back there. But
bad pass.
Yeah, not a real good pass. But I saw some kids tackling for that TCU defense that was very average at best. So okay, here's them on offense. Here's power versus five. We run this exact front at times. We'll put Harrell here, Morris here, 3-man. We run this exact deal with one linebacker at time. We run this, and they're out of the pistol, and they're running power versus the Michigan 5-1 look, I call it. We run it. Let's see how they block it. And they run power, and they scheme it kind of like we do, only they, again, they don't have anybody outside the defense here. So this guy's going to wrong arm this thing, but there's nobody here. So hopefully Michigan we'll have it coordinated a little better, but this is against man. So this guy's trying to come underneath, but that's a good run for that TCU offense. But we run that.
Where's the flag for a hold, man? Guy had his arm around him. Go ahead.
They didn't call it, didn't
Yeah, I mean, come on. That was a hold.
You want to look at it again?
Yeah, I mean, you tell me that's not a hold.
Let's take a look. Let me see where we're at here. On the secondary guy here, you're talking about, or at the end that went underneath?
The left tackle or the tight end there. He puts his arm around.
Okay, so here's the deal, Denny. We talked about this wrong arming. Okay, this guy is
pulling holds him.
Yeah, I see. This is a scheme that they're running though. They're asking this kid to make this play bounce outside to somebody that's here, but there's nobody there. It's poorly coordinated. It's not. It's a poor design. There's a mental mistake somewhere. Either the coach, the player, but somebody should be out. If this guy's wrong arming it, see, he's coming underneath this block. You can see him coming underneath it. See how he's got his head on the inside of that tackle?
Yeah.
Of that offense. So he's doing what he's asked to do, and there's nothing there. Now you're saying he's holding them.
Well,
yeah, it looks it does. It does look like a hold. Okay, but he's going underneath that thing. So, yes, it looks
doing over
you're
there.
absolutely right, Denny. Denny, that was questionable. Very questionable. 12 personnel, Denny. That means one back, 2 tight ends. He likes the pistol, boy. So here's the thing, Denny, that our Michigan defensive football players, anytime on offense, if I'm looking at TCU, everything means something. If he's in the pistol, everybody has to know what plays did they like out of the pistol. If he's set over here next to the quarterback, to his left, what does that mean? If he's set to his right, in any of these same formations, so they can run these exact same formations up front, but move the back to these 3 different spots, and it all means something different to the defense, and everybody has to know it. So anytime they shift, you'll see our players talking. If he shifts them here, it means something. If he shifts them here, it means something. I just want to point that out. Here's our 3-4 look. This is our defense. We will be in this front a lot against this team. Okay, he's bringing a backer. We run that, falling into zone. We do that, and we're going to defend it and disrupt it just like that. So just want to point that out. Here's some more 3-3-5 strengths. Here's Baylor on offense, and here's 3rd and 5. I showed a lot of things last time about some of the weaknesses of the 3-3-5, but here they are rushing 3, only rushing 3, getting in coverage, and you got to be good tacklers in space, and they do. They get them stopped, and they got them punting the football. So just throwing a little flare pass, and that's a strength of that type of a defense. So we'll understand that. Here's 4 vertical. Now here's the back set. 4 vertical back set to our left. Okay. What does pistol and back? Okay. I just talked about that, but it always means something, it means something. And does it mean he's flaring out? But here's 4 vertical, Denny. That's a common terminology for coaches. They're going to run 4 guys straight up the field. If you're in 3 deep, that's a problem. Because now they got 4 and you got 3. Let's see what Baylor's doing. Yeah, so they found a weakness of that 4 vertical against what they're doing. So this is always a pain. This is something that every defense has to have an answer for defending the spread. Is how are you going to defend 4 vertical? So we'll work on it. We'll be prepared for it. Mental breakdown. This is a gift for 27 TCU. He's kind of like their Ronnie Bell, this 27. He's a good, good receiver, not the tallest kid. But so this is 1st and 10. Baylor's coming out and spread. And they see, again, this is a team that's so worried about maybe this receiver here throwing the bubble, and they forget about this kid. So we can't make the mental breakdowns, but they're going to do things to confuse our defense. And they confuse Baylor's defense, who's got a real smart defensive coach. So this kid here, he's not a stiff. He'll make some catches. He'll make some plays. This 27. We got to know what he does. All right, so here's Baylor. Back set to our left. It looks like a power formation. You got guard, tackle, tight end here. So let's see how what Baylor. I kind of like this. I like how they're lined up here. You look at it and let's see why Baylor ran. They run the power, and they like the same thing too. Okay, you can just see it by alignment before the snap. Their coaches said, "Look, we like this. We like this. We got easy down blocks. We'll get some big guys on these guys. We'll pull another guy, get up in there, another small guy, and that they're off and running. That's our football play right there. So, that is a play that I know our coaches are looking at it, and their coaches are figuring out how to stop it. So that's where if I'm coaching TCU, the first play I'm putting in, if I'm coaching TCU's defense, is I'm telling my TCU defense, we got to stop Michigan's power. That would be the first play that I would put in if I'm coaching the TCU defense. Here's 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, a boot pass off a zone, 3rd and 7. So this is TCU. They've got 1, 2, 3. This is similar to our front here now because it's they got some big people in on offense. So let's see what they do. They run a boot against it and they score a touchdown. So maybe we can look at that and see what was the weakness of what they're doing. What was the weakness of what TCU did against this formation? We got this same type of formation. So there's something in there that Baylor saw. Our coaches will look at it. What was their adjustment in that type of a formation, that type of down and distance? Our coaches will look at all that. Here's a pick play versus man. So Baylor knew TCU was in man here. Let's see what they do to it. A little pick, little subtle pick. You see how they run this pick here, Denny, with these two? Get this guy rubbed off. Get one of them rubbed off. Nice pass, and in man coverage, that's a problem. Almost a touchdown. They catch it, but our guys will look at that. Can we run those pick plays? We got all that stuff in. Okay, here's, again, this is 2nd and 5. 1 and 18 are big, tall receivers. We got to know what they can do. They are not as, I think Antoine asked last week, Scar, what do you think about who's better, Kojo or number 1? I think Kojo's a much better player in space. He's going to make guys miss. I don't think their guy could do what he did against Ohio State, what Kojo did against Ohio State. These guys are bigger, lankier guys. They're going to go up and get the ball. But we got to know what they can do. They're big, tall guys with good athleticism. And now they lose track of this kid. And Duggan, throws it up there to him. He knows he's a big, tall kid. No pressure on the quarterback. That's not a good deal. So we got to get this kid, and he's a tough kid. 22 formation. I called this when I coached 22, just 2 here and 2 here. I made it real simple. 1 back. 22 formation. QB keep off. Oh, this is the QB keep off of the power. The QB keep 3rd and 1. Remember, Danny, if I'm playing defense against TCU, short yardage, I'm thinking quarterback run. Red zone, I'm thinking quarterback run. If I'm an edge guy, if I'm coaching this defense, so this is, again, they're going to spread you out, 3rd and 1, and they're going to run the quarterback. Spread the field to run. Right? So that's what they want to do. And this kid's athletic, and he's tough. He's not a stiff. I just think our guy's a little quicker. I said slight edge JJ because I think JJ is a little bit quicker and going to make people miss. But we got to be aware of this stuff. Spread the field, spread the defense, give this kid room to run. That's what they're trying to think there. So we'll run some games here, try to put this read in conflict for Duggan. Not make it an easy read. Is he giving the ball? Is he keeping the ball? I'm sure we're working on those things. We've done some of that stuff to make that. You understand what I mean by that read? Tough for him, Denny? Are you there? 3rd and 11.
Yeah, well,
good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 3rd and 11 here. Good protection. They protect pretty darn good. You know, when you look at some of the games, they don't. Again, his ability to run helps also, just like our guy. But you know, they're bringing 4 here, and you know, they give him a lot of time, and he'll throw a good pass. And you know, this is the kind of guy you don't want to defend, man. The quarterback, I don't like to defend, are guys that are good passers that can also run. And that are smart and tough. So he's a good player, man. He's a good quarterback. Spread the field again. They're going to spread the field, 22 formation, 2nd and 2, down here in the red zone. And what do? Now they run the ball. So if I'm coaching defense against Sonny and I'm playing defense in this front 7, you know, I know that, you know, especially with the wider split, sometimes they really take they're going to really widen you out, you know, see how far you go. Move this guy away from the defense. Move this guy away from the defense so he can't get in and help on these plays. It's real simple stuff. Just get these other 4 defenders out of the box. Get them away so when you run the football in there, you know, and they run power play pretty good. That's power. That's our play, pulling guys. So that's the philosophy there. This is our stuff again, and they do a pretty good job. Everybody just blocks down. This is what we do. Just on the goal line, everybody blocks down. But back will come right off the butt of the edge of it. And Baylor doesn't do a good job there. We're going to defend it better than that. But they just block down, cave the whole left side in with some big dudes, and that's too easy. Not good defense. Game-winning drive. This is their last drive to win this game against Baylor. Here's 3 and 1. I called this 31. So they got 3 receivers at the top. Big play here. So number 4. So Denny, we pointed out 1. We pointed out 18. We pointed out 27, and here we are pointing out 4. I just wanted to point that out that, you know, they got 4 guys just like we do. We got a lot of receivers, you know, that can make plays. So it makes it more difficult to defend, you know, that they'll throw to all 4 of these guys. They're not all stiffs. They're not imposters. He'll throw it to every one of them. So that's that.
That was on the money too. He's an accurate passer, no doubt about that.
He's not a stiff, man. We gotta have pressure. We gotta have coverage. We gotta know that he'll step up in the pocket. He'll step out, and here we go, empty. Here's 3rd and 1, the final drive, and we were on this same stuff. They motion out to empty. They want to get this linebacker out of the box, and they run quarterback draw. A lot of room in there. You know, and that's why I like running stunts on empty. Anytime they go empty, I like to run stunts in here so that the line can't get a beat on things. You know, crossing stunts, slant your tackles. But anyway, they'll run it. He ain't afraid to run, this kid. He's a big strong kid. Here's 3rd and 7, questionable call. 22 seconds left. Oh, running the football in there with no timeouts. I just questioned it. They end up winning the game, but so there's no time. Okay, the reason I question this, Danny, I mean, look, you got no timeouts left. I mean, you better, and when you work on this as coaches, you know, you better have your kicking team, your holder, your snapper, your longs, they better be ready. Because, you know, he's obviously wanted to get the ball set up over here. And he's got a pretty good kicker. And I just wondered why he bothered to even run the football. Just, you know, kick it on 3rd down, throw it out of something. But now you got to run your kick team out here. You know, here you go. So they're running off the field. And, you know, this is good coaching in terms of how fast They're able to get off, get on. But I just questioned having to rush it like this. And the kid makes a kick and they win the game. This was a big win for them.
Yeah.
But it ain't happened against Michigan, Denny.
Yeah, I mean, like you weren't the only one that was questioning that run with 22 seconds to go, and to get out there and have that kicker just go ahead and nail that one. Yeah, it's an impressive offense. Look, they score. They're in the top 10. They're right there with Michigan, being able to score 40 points a game. So when you have a guy that can run, you got, if you put out there 4 wide receivers, got an accurate quarterback. I mean, guy's a Heisman finalist, Davey O'Brien winner. I mean, they're gonna make some plays. They're gonna score. Can Michigan's defense, make that one big play? They're gonna make some big plays. Can you hold them down to not too many big plays? And can you make one when you get into the second half? If it gets to be a fourth quarter type game, can you come up? Can the defense force a turnover or two and come up with a big play there? But that offense is the real deal. That's why, Michigan's offense is going to have to, and they have the answers. They're going to have to, I think, you got to put up 35, 40 points in this game if you're Michigan's offense.
Yeah, Danny, this is a similar game plan and philosophy that we're hoping for from a Michigan game defensively. What we're looking for is, look, we know they can move it up and down. I don't see really, really explosive, type players, good players, but they're going to move the ball, but let's be great in the red zone. Same philosophy. Let's be great in the red zone against this spread team. And when they want to get physical, I think we're going to hammer it. And when they want to spread it out, we got to know quarterback keep. We got to know what they want to do out of that. Let's be great in the red zone. And then offensively, I think we want to control the football, put them long drives together, exploit them, their 3-3-5 against what we want to do. Put them in conflict and end up with touchdowns in the red zone. So, that's where I'm thinking our coaches are hoping for. That's what I'm seeing. I think we're going to win the red zone, both sides of the ball. And, I have a good feeling about it, but they are definitely a good football team. We can't screw around turning the ball over, man. We got to secure the ball, make our kicks, protect the punter and all those little things, cover kicks, all that stuff. But let's control the ball, run the ball, and exploit that 3-3-5 defense.
Yeah, I think just watching them there, I'm just thinking about, the jump ball with those tall receivers, 6'4", Quentin Johnson. That seems like it's going to be a key. And I wondered, when you're talking about a quarterback that can run it like Max Duggan can do, like Max Duggan can. You talked about stunning, but do you want your guys? Certainly, they want to stay in some lanes there. But if they're stunting, you don't want to get too far upfield on a guy like that because you can see him taking off, and that he's going to make big plays with his legs too. So I don't know. What would you talk about spies sometimes? What do you focus on when you got a quarterback, that can move it with his legs right there? What do you think some of the things that they're emphasizing here?
I think, Denny, Michigan's philosophy defensively is we are not doing the same thing every down against the same formation, down and distance. We just mix it up. We have a philosophy of we are creative. We are not consistent. We don't let offenses get an indicator of what we're going to do. I like the concept of slanting and doing stunts against the empty formation, only the empty.
Okay,
that's what I'm talking about, because when they want to run quarterback draw and you're just, you got 2 outside edge guys rushing upfield, you got a 3 technique rush in the B gap and a 1 technique rush in the A gap, then the quarterback knows where the empty gaps are. You know what I mean? On his quarterback draw, and so does the offensive line. But if you're running some type of stunts in there and empty, they don't, it's harder for the quarterback and the line to always figure it out. So I like it against empty. But, look, our defensive football players are going to understand that, look, they know which plays the quarterback can keep the ball off the RPO, just like what we do with JJ. They'll know which plays in which formations they like to do that, and we'll always be aware of down and distance. And I guarantee you, we'll have, like I said, we will have worked on technique with our edge players and our people that are responsible for the dive quarterback situation to try to put that read in conflict to make it a difficult read for that quarterback. We'll work on that. So, because we have in the past, and we've caught quarterbacks at times.
Well, you've got the juices flowing here on a Tuesday. Get ready. I know we still have days to count down. We got some bowl games though to watch in the meantime. We've got the early signing day tomorrow, so there are some things that we can do. Before I just sit around twiddling our thumbs, waiting for New Year's Eve. Scar, great job. Can't wait to talk with you next week and see what your observations as you watch Michigan practice. So we look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm going to take a peek, and I know I'm going to see a lot of enthusiasm. I'm going to see a lot of healthy guys, and they're fired up. They got a good recruiting class. They're going to get signed up tomorrow, and we got some great transfers coming in. And Denny, we don't rebuild, we reload, baby. We reload. Go Blue.
There he is, Jim Scarcelli. Thanks.